All right. Testing, testing, testing. Hello, hello, hello. Testing, test. Um, I don't know if my mic is working correctly. I had an issue with it earlier. Let's see. Bear with me 1 second. I don't know why it keeps doing this. Let's see if I can. Hello, 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 hello. Okay, well, I mean, it seems like it works good enough. Okay, well, I mean, it seems like it works good enough. Okay, well. All right, well, let's do this. Um, 1 sec here. I'll start with sharing my screen here. Where are we? All right. So I did figure out what was happening yesterday. It looks like I had restrictions on the being able to chat. So I fixed that, and uh, bear with me 1 sec here. Okay. So I did figure out what was going on yesterday. The chat was off. I turned it back on so this way people can ask questions and things like that. So as I was talking about yesterday, my goal and my hope is that basically people will follow along and learn with me, and basically we're learning together. I feel like this might be a great way to grasp, what's going on here with Python, and so it's not just for ZyBooks. If you're in the same school as me, it's not for just that. It's also so that if you want to learn Python, this can be an easy beginner friendly way to do it. So let me get started here. So yesterday, if anybody watched it, which I doubt it, but if anybody did, you'll I talked about how we're just going to go through a few ZyBook like in order. So I left off on 2.14 yesterday, or 2.13. Now I'm on 2.14. Go through a few things here, and then afterwards, I noticed that there were a couple other videos, kind of like what I'm doing here, but there was just something that I wasn't really grasping. Like it felt, they'd only do like a portion of the test and not the whole thing. And I wish that they did the whole thing, or, this and that. So I'm just going to try it on my own. And plus, I think it'll be good for me to learn anyway, whether people follow along with me and learn together with me or not. So, but that being said, so we are going to go through a few things. We'll get through a few different things on the ZyBooks, and then we'll take a practice test, and then we'll go through a few more ZyBooks, and then we'll take another practice test. So kind of getting ourselves to a point where we're studying and testing. And I feel like we can really learn quickly this way. Um, so let me just, and I do this time yesterday, I only had like 30 minutes, 28 minutes maybe. But today I have the full day available to me, so we'll spend some out. I'll be on here a couple hours in case anybody wants to join later on anyway. But if not, that's okay, because I will still learn by talking out loud. Bear with me one sec here. Why is that like that? Oh, that's wrong. Why is that? Okay. Now, I did notice an issue with my headset yesterday. I don't know if it's the same today. Um, kind of testing it and looking on my phone to see if the audio comes through kind of says that it is kind of working, but if it's not, let me know. I'll try and fix it, while I'm live or, tomorrow. Because the goal is to do this each week, Monday through Friday. Today is, oh wow, today's Thursday already. Okay, let's get started. All right, so interleaved input-output. Auto-graded programming assignments have numerous advantages, but have some challenges too. Students commonly struggle with realizing that example input-output provided in an assignment's specifications interleaves input and output, but the program should only output the output part. If a program should double its input, an instructor might provide this example. Enter X, 5. X doubled is 5, is 10. Students often incorrectly create a program that outputs the 5 instead of the program should only output the output parts. Enter X, X double is 10. So right here, it kind of tells me that we should be putting, like if the enter was 5, it would be 5 doubled is 10. That's what it sounds like it's telling me. But we will see as we go on. The instructor's example is showing both the output and the program, and the user's input to that program, assuming the program is developed in the environment. So yeah, program is developed in the environment where a user is interacting with the program, but the program itself doesn't output 5 or the new line following the 5, which occurs with the user types 5 and presses enter. I realize I'm not reading the best here, so if you'd like me to read better, just let me know. I just kind of skimming. I'm assuming you're following along and kind of reading it yourself. So also, if the instructor configured the test cases to observe white space, then according to the above example, the program should output a new line after enter X, and possibly after the 10. If the instructor's test case accepts that, the program below incorrectly echoes the user's input to output. So try submitting it for grading. Click submit mode. Excuse me. Then submit for grading. Notice that the test cases fail. The first test, so let's do that. So it said click submit mode. So, oh crap, where's submit mode? Submit for grading. So here's submit for grading. I wish that if I'm missing the obvious, I wish I could notice it. Then submit for grading. I'm not sure what it means by that, but I will submit for grading just to see what happens. Okay, so I obviously did it incorrectly, but it wanted us to see it's doing it incorrectly. So it looks like the output is enter X 3, X double is 6. So what the expected output is for it to not show 3 and just show X double is 6. Input is -5. Here it shows -5. X double is -10. but the expected output is just enter X. We don't see the input, and then it says X doubled is -10. So I'm assuming it's going to want us to see like why it's doing that and then to correct it. So let's just make sure. Remove the code that echoes the user's input back to the output and submit again. Now test case should pass. So here's the input. So enter X, you enter X, or let's say, whatever they did, 3. Print X. So this is where we will want to remove this. And then I'm going to run it just to see, because if I remember correctly, in the pre-assessment or even the assessment itself, if you submit it, I think it counts. I'm not sure. I don't know if you can redo it, but I would say best practice is to always test before submitting anyway. Enter X, I entered 3, but I know that the output, because I can see what I'm doing, but the output to what this is supposed to see should only be this, because we're not telling it. If I were to put this back on here, it would show up differently. So I'll even run it and test it. Same, it'll show 3 again and then X. So we'll delete this. I'm going to leave the comment there because it's a comment. Run it. Oh, input. Okay, that looks good. Submit for grading. Okay, perfect. So it did run through. Submission passed. All right. I haven't really quite figured out how many or how far I'm going to go through the labs and then do a test. Maybe we'll do these labs here until we get to part 3 here, and then we'll go do a practice test. And then we'll come back after that and do what? Maybe should we do halfway? So, like 8, 7, and then test, and then the rest, and then test? Or should I do the full thing and then test? I don't know. I'll decide after we're done, but if you're watching and have an idea, then I'll do that. All right, lab format output, hello world. Write a program that outputs hello world as shown above. So hello world. I feel like this is grammatically incorrect, though. I feel like there should be a comma here. Hello, comma, world, but whatever. As shown below, for all labs, end with new line. Okay, end with new line. So does that mean it wants me to create a new line? Let's see. So it wants me to basically just print hello world, which is simple. I'm assuming that by this point, if you're on 2.15.1 lab, I'm assuming you've already done stuff like this. But if not, that's okay. Print single quote. You can do double quote or single quote. I like single quotes. I don't know why. Hello world. Now with these tests, it is case sensitive. I kept doing things like where I would say hello world and keep the W, little, and it would come back all red or fail, and I couldn't figure out why. And it's looking for case, punctuation, everything. So make sure that's good. All right. Hello world. Print hello world without the comma. Run it. Hello world. Oh, you know what I didn't do though? I didn't end it with a new line. So I'm curious. Okay, submit for grading. So I have a feeling it's going to want me to end it with a new line, which you do with \n for new line. and then we'll just do it again. And then you'll see it had this line here and it went down here, where if I didn't put it, that gap is gone. But it says end with a new line. So I have a feeling it wants it to do it this way, but we'll find out. If not, I mean, I may be wrong, but we'll find out. So we'll do submit for grading. See, so I'm not too sure. This is the confusing part about these sometimes. I mean, write a program that outputs hello world, as shown below, for all labs and with new line, unless otherwise stated. Now, to me, you don't say something like that unless you want us to put something like this. That's just my opinion. Because if I were to run this, it already has that line. And anytime you do a print, it's going to be it's going to be a new line. So new line, right? See, so it puts it on its own new line. So if it just wanted me to do this and create that, that's what it should have just done. But now let's submit it, see what it says. It passed. You see, unless it's saying, do that. I mean, we can test that, I guess. I mean, I don't know if it's going to reflect that on me or not, but I'm learning. So, and that still passes. That just blows my mind. Don't say end with a new line if it automatically will end with a new line. I mean, it's confusing. I do not want to go off on a tangent right now, so I'll just move on to 216. I just think it sets people up for failure, that's all. That's all I'm saying. Write a program that takes a first name and is input as the input and output a welcome message to that name. Example, if the input is Pat, the output is welcome to ZyBooks. Oh, welcome. Hey, Patsy, grammatically incorrect. There needs to be a comma there. Hey, Pat, and a period, or exclamation mark, or question mark. Hey, Pat, welcome to ZyBooks, exclamation mark. Okay. So type your code here. You can either leave that there, or you can just delete this out, whichever one. So user name equals input. So we have the variable already that is going to store the input, the user's name. And now that means we just need a output. So we'll do print. Now I feel like there's can be two different ways of doing this. We can print hey Pat here, and then print welcome to ZyBooks here. Or we could do something like this. Hey, it'll be plus Pat, right? Oh wait, it's plus input, so technically it would be username, and then this will all put it on the same line. So I could go like this, username. Actually, will it work there? Will those /n work there? And then quotes, welcome to, we're going to test this, ZyBooks. I don't know why I'm typing so crappily today. Just fix a couple things here. All right. Username input, print hey username, And then next line, welcome to ZyBooks. So let's see how it actually does it, if that forward n works or if we get an error. Okay, so we did get an error. This part I've always been confused about though. I've always been confused about where this /n should go. So it may need to go inside of the quotations here. So we'll do new line, welcome, because we want hey name that we input to be together on the top and then on the bottom welcome to ZyBooks. So let's see if we get an error here. Oh, duh. It's blinking because it's waiting for me to put in a name. What I was expecting for it was to say, what's your name or something like that. But it doesn't have a put your name here, so it's just input. So we will do this and then press enter. It'll say, hey, ShellX, welcome to ZyBooks. And I notice that there's no space here, which is interesting because when I was doing some testing before, it automatically added that space here. And I know that because every time I did this and added a space after the quote string and then the variable to put out the variable, it always added that space. And every time I added that space after hey, it would be incorrect. But I could be, I could be missing something or forgetting something. I wonder if it will be mad at me if I say input, what is your name? And then I wonder if it's going to be mad at me when I submit it if I do that. I just visually, I like it when it does this because I can see what's going on. ShellX, and then we'll hit enter. So it added that space. Hey, ShellX, welcome to ZyBooks. Now this was one way that I was thinking we could do it. The other way was print print hey, I'm gonna put that space there. Username, I'm just gonna add the space. I kind of like the way visually it looks. So, and then there was no period, no quote, anything like that. And then print I'm sorry, I feel a little dizzy. Give me 1 second. Okay. Sorry, I just was feeling a little dizzy and lightheaded. So, all right. Hey, username, print, welcome to ZyBooks, exclamation. So this was the other way I was thinking that we could do it. And then I can run it. ShellX, hey ShellX, welcome to ZyBooks. So those are 2 ways. I'm going to submit it this way though, because it's it's cleaner code. It's all done in one line, and it uses less, less code. You don't need 2 lines to do it. So just to double check to make sure this is working properly. Let's do that again. Hey, Shellex, welcome to ZyBooks, and then submit it. Because what I think it's just looking for that output, That's what I was afraid of. I was afraid of, even though, it doesn't say, um, even though I guess the output is showing what is your name. So that's why it's not liking it, because it didn't specifically request that, which is okay, because this is supposed to be a testing ground. So I'll take that out, submit it. I can see it's 10 out of 10, but so that's what it was looking. Sorry. So those are the 2 different ways to do that. I don't know if there's any questions on that, but there's 2 different ways. Key takeaways. Maybe tell us a little bit here. Key takeaways. White space characters, spaces, new lines, tabs are crucial in strings and should not be overlooked. By default, the print function adds a new line, which is what I was saying, at the end unless the end parameter is changed. In labs and exams, printed output is expected to end with a new line unless specified otherwise, which is rare and would be noted in the question. Okay, so that makes more sense. Oh my gosh, didn't I say? Okay, so we finished number 2 and going on to number 3. And I did say that once we got to number 3, we were going to go and take a practice test. So let's go take, and if tomorrow, if you just want me to do the practice tests over and over, practice test 1, practice test 2, and then do it again, practice test 1, practice, if that's the way, if that's the information you want the most, let me know. I have no problem doing that. I mean, I'm just here to learn like you guys. So, if that's the way we want to learn together as a team, then that's what we'll do. So before continuing on on part 3 of this here, variables and expressions, we're going to go to test lab 1. Right? Did I click on it? Yeah, 29 line. Okay. Excuse me. I don't know if this headset's working, so just let me know. All right. Write a program that prints a formatted no parking sign as shown below. Note the first line has 2 leading spaces for all tabs, and with new line unless otherwise stated. No parking, 2 to 6 a.m. So that's how it wants us to do the output. Note parking sign has note first line has 2 leading spaces. So right here it's telling us it's already telling us to put those spaces. So what we'll do is so it looks like it's just a printout. So we'll do print all caps. See, 2 leading spaces. 1, 2. No parking. And it doesn't look. Yeah, we're not going to have any spaces at the end. Excuse me. So we'll do another print 2 space dash 6:00 space a dot m dot. Don't forget that dot at the end because it will be looking for it. It's looking for every punctuation, every space, everything. So let's see if the output did it the same as here. No parking to, oh, what there it is. No parking to, so that's perfect. I think that was an easy one. Submit for grading. Turn out of 10. All right, that's our first one. We're gonna go to number. I wanted to. What do I want to do? I wanted to. Give me 1 sec. Give me 1 second. I want to do something real quick. I hope you can just bear with me and pause in your brain for a second here. If it takes too long, I'll just do it later. But what am I trying to do here? That's not what I want. That's not what I want. Oh, here it is. Give me 1 sec. 1 sec here. I mean, there's only one person, but if you're watching this back, then you can fast forward if you're watching the replay. 1 sec. I feel like I should go on TikTok live and like just show this here and then have like my YouTube channel on like showing here, you know? Maybe I'll do that later tomorrow. Maybe we'll have like a 30-minute water break, I mean a 5-minute water break and then come back. I don't know. But give me 1 sec, please. Sorry, almost done. Almost done, almost done, almost done. Almost done. Almost done. Almost done. I don't know why I'm singing it, but I'm almost done. All right, one more. Oops. I'm trying to rush. It doesn't much help. Okay. Sorry about that wait. Luckily, these labs are not timed, right? Mad Libs are activities that have a person provided various words, which are then used to complete a short story in unexpected and hopefully funny ways. Complete a program that reads 4 values from input and stores the values in variables: first name, whole number, plural noun, and generic location. So those are the variables we want to create. And first name, whole number, plural noun. So it has these variables here. The program then uses the input values to output a short story. The first input statement is provided in the code as an example. Notes. To test your program in the develop mode, pre-enter your values in separate lines. To test your program in the develop mode, pre-enter 4 values in separate lines. in the inbox, in the input box. And click run the program. The auto grader in the submit mode will test your program with different steps. Eric 12 college color. Then the program uses the input values and outputs a story. Eric buys 12 different types of cars at Chipotle. If the input values are Brenda 6 bells Phyllis, then the program uses the input values and outputs a story. Brenda buys 6 different types of bells at Phyllis. So read a value from a user and store the value in first name. To do, type your code to read 3 more values here. So bear with me. Why is this? There we go. Okay. So it already has our output set up here. So it looks like it's wanting us to take these variables and create that. So let's just do that. So we'll say, so we have the first name already, and we're just going to put it under to do here, just so that it looks cleaner. Like whatever. Anyway, so we've got first name. Now we need whole number. Input, and I'm not going to put any text in here that says, like give me a whole number, blah, blah, blah. We're not going to put that there since last time it didn't like it when it didn't specify it. Third thing is plural noun equals input. A thought that I just had, or a note, whenever you're learning coding or Python, really anything, but whenever you're learning coding and or Python or whatever you're doing, don't just copy. I would recommend not to just copy paste and then just change like the variable. I think it's really good to get practice typing out the whole thing. I feel like it helps better with memory muscle and remembering the structure and the what to do and things like that. Generic location. I do use the quick thing though. I feel like I get that part's, I guess, a little bit hypocritical of me, but I do use the enter, and then I'll do input, because I feel like maybe because in my brain, like I know what input does already, and I know what this does. But if you're just learning and you're like, oh, what was that thing to make it to where people can type in their own thing and put it under their name or something, like if you're doing that, then yeah, type it out. But if you already know what input is, things like that, press enter with the given like hint there, the given pop-up there that will tell you, hey, is this what you're trying to do? Generic location. So I think that was all it wanted us to do. So let's the program. So I think that's what it wants us to do. So let's run it. First name. And then it wants us to do a whole number, like 8. And then it wants us to do a plural noun. I'll be honest with you, I don't know what that is, but I'm going to copy what was up there. Noun. I think a noun is a person, place, or thing, right? And plural is like more than one. So can I do person, place, or thing? Can I do seagulls? Is that how you spell seagulls, or is it 2 L's? And then generic location, Tennessee. How about that? And then enter. Shell X buys 8 different types of seagulls at Tennessee. Oh, I think, you know what? I think it's just looking for like a store name or something, but hey, that works. I could have put Target and then say at Target because at Tennessee doesn't make sense. But I get it. So let's run it and see if it has anything to tell us nay on. Checking. Has anybody else been, while we're waiting for this, has anybody else been catching up on Walking Dead just so that they can go and watch, you know, the Daryl Dixon one, The Ones Who Live, and the Negan one? Death City, I think it's called, or something like that. Dead City, or whatever. Yeah, I love those and the spinoffs. Or continuations, technically. Perfect. So that's what it was looking for. Okay. So this one was pretty easy. We just, you know, made some variables, took in some input. If you have any questions on that or need me to explain it further, just let me know. And obviously, I'm not going to have people here live. Like, I don't expect it to be, but if you put it in the comments, and I can always like go back on the videos. I mean, on like tomorrow, I can go back on your comments and or questions and answer the questions on my next video. So, convert to dollars. Given 3 input values presenting counts of nickels, dimes, and quarters, output the total amount as dollars and cents. Output each floating point value with 2 digits after the decimal point using the following statement. So so it wants us to have, like, you know, the money or the digits can't be like, you know, 2.556665656, like long like that. It wants us to just have 2 digits at the end. And it looks like that's how this is accomplishing it. This here is what's called an F string. And this, what I know about this is that it will print out the amount of money and have only 2 decimals or 2, is that how you say it? 2 decimal points at the end, or 2 digits after the decimal point at the end. So if the input is 314, where 3 is the number of nickels at 5 cents each, 1 is the number of dimes at 10 cents, and 4 is the number of quarters at 25 cents. The output is 125. So for simplicity, assume input is non-negative. So it looks like it's wanting us to write it from the beginning. So we'll have to figure out a way to take the input of 314 and then spit out this here, which is this here. Output user. So that's what we're gonna do. So, because we don't want to, we don't want to like hard code. Do we want to hard code it? Will it get mad at us if we hard code it? Right? So, I mean, dollars is one of the variables, right? So, or is it wanting us to do this thing where it nickels, dimes, right, and quarters, quarters. So I'm just creating the variables here real quick. Quarters. So do we want to take input, or do we want to hard code it? No, I have a feeling. Let's read it again. Given the input values, it says it right there. Okay. This is why I always have to read things like 10 times before I even do it. which, I mean, it can be good. At least you know you're, getting the right information. All right. Nickels, dimes, and quarters. But then we need math here. So we'll do the variable dollars, since that's what it created in this little tidbit here, which is going to be, remember I said don't copy and paste, which I almost did. So print, and then this is the F string. Oops. I encourage you to look that up. F amount, F string, and then amount. And then what we'll do is we'll put a $sign. And this right here in the brackets is where we will put that variable dollars. Now you have to have a colon and then .2f, which is going to make it to where there are two numbers, digits, integers at the end after the decimal instead of a long line. So dollars equals, and you just, I mean, the way I would count quarters and nickels and stuff is I would say, okay, 25, 25 cents on a quarter, and then a dime is 10 cents, so 25, 35. So I'm adding, right? So taking that in mind, that's what I'll do is I will say quarters plus dimes and plus nickels. In case you didn't see what I was doing, I'm doing from largest to smallest. So quarter plus dime plus nickel. So 25 plus 10 plus 5. So actually no, because you need to take, because if I were to say 3, it's going to say 3. So that's actually wrong now that I think about it, because we will need to say, it's like, let's say the input was, I have 1 quart nickels, 2 nickels, right? I would need to know that each one of those nickels are 5 cents each, times 2. So 2 times 0.05, right? So why don't I do this? Why don't I say nickels times 0.05 dimes times, so it'll be the input, like if I put 3 nickels, 3 times 0.05, right? So times 0.10, and then quarters, times 0.25. I was slow there because I was thinking that these are integers. So, I mean, without the decimal, these are integers. I'm wondering, actually, let's test it. But what I'm wondering, I'll think it out loud. I'm wondering if it will actually give me the decimals, because technically these are supposed to be a float and not a integer. So let's see what happens if I don't specify float and then input, right? To convert the input into a floating number, which is a decimal number, if I don't put that in. So let's run it. We'll do this input here, 314. So 3. Okay, so we've got an error here. So nickels equals input. So can't multiply sequence by non-integer. So we do, that right there tells us that we do need a integer or a float, right? In this case, we can't do integer because these are floating numbers. And if you remember from the last video, my last video, an input automatically is a string, whether you put in a number or not. So we need to convert that into whether it's going to be an integer or a float in order to multiply it by 0.05. And I hope that makes sense. Basically, when you give me a 5, it doesn't have quotes around it to say, I'm just saying the words 5. Instead, it's going to be like, okay, I'm giving you a 5, like a $5 bill or a number. So in order to do that, we have to use float, which is going to be float, right? And we'll put that in quotes. I'm sorry, parentheses. So we'll do that for each one, float. And then float. I wish, should we have like classical music going in our ears right now, like, you know, like study music? That's when I'm not on live, when I'm not doing a live or you know, anything like that, I usually listen to classical music. I'm gonna put on some music, classical music, way down low here, so that way it's not overpowering. I hope that's okay with you guys. I need that in my background for some reason in my ears. Yeah, and you know, I'm gonna test that real quick. Let me actually look at my live and see how the volume's coming out real quick. Let's see how the volume's coming out real quick. Let's see how the volume's coming out real quick. Let's see how the volume's coming out. Let's see how the volume's coming out. It's repeating itself. It's repeating itself. All right, I can't hear it on the video, but if it's too loud for you, let me know. I'm going to turn it down a little bit more because I want to be able to concentrate at the same time. Okay, that's good for me. All right, back at it. So where was I? Okay, so we made them the float. Why is this? You know that you did something wrong when doing this because you see how when you see this is like blue, right? So the colors, the colors do make a difference, because if you know that what these colors are, or if you know that something is supposed to be turning a different color, on most IDEs, you'll be able to see like, oh, I did something wrong. Like here, it's obvious that this float is not the same as whatever this is. And why? Because I forgot the L. So now we're taking these in, the input in, and we're going to make it a float. And then from there, we're going to take this, whatever, so, you know, whatever the math is on the input times 5 times 10 times 25, and it's going to store those variables, or whatever those variables are holding. It's going to, dollars will now hold that. And then print it out here with 2 decimal places at the end, 2 digits at the end. The reason you want to put the F string, so the F string here is just converting all of this into a string, so that way it can take it to an output. So this is not outputting as an integer or float. It's outputting as a string when we do this. Now, if I'm incorrect on that, please correct me, because like I said, I'm just learning like you guys too. So I'm going to run this and we're going to try it again. And then I'll do, what numbers did it provide up there? I'll just do 314. 314. So amount $1.25, amount $1.25. So it came out the same. So I did something correct here. So we converted it into a float instead of a string, and then reconverted it back into a string, so that way we can output it. And then you'll notice, so what happens if I take that out? Does it do the 314? Let's try another example of different numbers, like 10. So it gave me only one digit here. Why? Because it's a 0. So it's not going to put 0, 0. It's only going to put 1. So that is the point of this. So colon 2F, and I forget what this is called. Oops. I forget. What the heck? Point 2F. There we go. I forget what this is called here. Actually, you know what? Why don't I? So that way we can learn together live here. Let me just look this up real quick, and I can tell you what it's for or what it means. Okay. It's a formatting string. So it's a format specifier that controls how the variable dollars is displayed. So basically it's saying that the dot indicates the start of the precision, precision specification. So basically, what do you specifically want? That you want to specifically have 2 digits at the end. Sets the precision to 2 decimal places. Okay, I was saying that right, 2 decimal places. Specifies that, so the F specifies, and that was, so the number 2 sets the precision to 2 decimal places, and the F specifies that the type of a fixed point number, standard decimal notation. Okay, so that makes sense to me. So we'll run that again. And now we're getting the 2 digits at the end. I wanted to show you an example of like zeros at the end. Can you think of? I wish I could figure out a way to do zeros at the end again. Oh, duh. Let's say 4, not 3, 2, 8. No? Why am I being dumb here? Why am I being dumb? 10, 20, 30. There we go. Okay. So see, this time it puts the 2 digits at the end. All right. Now we're going to submit it for grading because I feel like it's good now. Awesome, 10 out of 10. So that's exactly what I was expecting output, and you can see it tried it with different numbers. Let's see if it tried it with a 0. It did try it with a 0. So right here it was testing to make sure that the 2 zeros at the end. Perfect. So just remember F string when you're doing an output for like the floating numbers, integers, things like that. And then this here is basically the formatting of the last 2 digits over here, saying I want the output, whether it's a 0 or not, to always be 2 decimal places. So, and I got to keep track. Where did I say I was going to leave off? I think I said like 8 or 9. I wanted to be halfway. Let's count this print chapter as 20, right? And just go to 10. So, I mean, I know it goes at 19, so we'll just do like 9 or 10, but 10 is a good number. I don't want to stop at 9. That feels weird. Excuse me. Here in about another minute, I'm going to take a 5-minute break to get some water. Driving is expensive. Write a program with a car's gas mileage, miles divided by gallon, and the cost of gas, dollars divided by gallon, as floating point input and output. Output the gas cost for 20 miles, 75 miles, and 500 miles. Output each floating number value with 2 digits after the decimal point, which can be achieved as follows. Print F. So your value 1, which is the variable, you want to set the formatting to be 2 decimal places, your value 2, 2 decimal places, your value 3, 2 decimal places. If the input is 25.03.1599, where the gas mileage is 25 miles divided by, is it saying divided by gallons or is it saying miles per gallon? And the cost of gas, 3.159 a gallon, the output is 2.53, 9.54, 9.48, and 63.20. And I think, hold on. Okay, let me just, I don't know how to pause the stream, so you're gonna just stare at my ugly crafting table and my chair. So I will be right back with a water bottle. All right. Looks like I lost a viewer, which is okay. Hopefully they come back. But, okay. Back where we left off. Excuse me while I get situated. Okie dokie. Okay. So I wanted to try something because in my head, I'm trying to like figure out, the math, and I have to all the time basically. I have to visualize. Now, you can't see. I don't think you can see it on my screen here. Huh. Oh, because I have Zylab specifically typed. Basically, what I'm doing is to visually see this, I have a calculator up, and I am going to test this. So we have to figure out where the gas mileage is 25 miles per gallon, right? And the cost of gas is 3.1599 a gallon. So the cost $3.15, rounded up 16 cents, round up, but 16 cents a gallon, and then I get 25 miles to the gallon. So is that like 25 divided by 1? No, that can't be right. 25 miles. I know this seems stupid right now on the live, but at the beginning I said this is why I'm going on the live, is to think things out loud and to learn. So if you already know how to do this, tell me. If not, then I'm not sure. But we'll take, so we get 25 miles to the gallon, right? So that means for every gallon, it's $3 and 3.1599 a gallon. So we have to do math here. So is it expecting me to do your value as the variable? Because I would like to do miles to the gallon, right? Like miles to gallon variable, and then let's gas cost, right? And then what's the third value? Where miles is 25 gallon, and the cost of gas is, the output is 25, 9.4 to that. Real per mile cost would also include maintenance and depreciation. So write a program with a car's gas mileage. So gas mileage is miles to the gallon, and the cost of gas, which is the gas cost here, as floating point input, and output the gas cost for 2075. So how much? So we'll do gas price and then gas cost, right? So miles per gallon, miles to gallon. Can I do input? I can do input, right? So we want this to be a float. So remember, we need to convert the input into a floating number because we're dealing with dollars and mileage here. So float input, right? And then float input. And then on this one is going to equal miles. This is the part that I need to figure out how the maths. Is it the gas price? Oh, God, I'm just gonna look it up. But I don't know why this is racking my brain. How to calculate miles per gallon with the dollar with the cost. What does it say? Three. Oops. So basically what I'm just figuring out is how to do the math itself. I'm not looking for an answer. What I'm looking for is how to find the answer. So like, you need to take the gas and times it by this and that, you know what I mean? So fuel used. The cost of gas is not used. Okay. So m miles per gallon equals distance traveled miles. Is it divided by fuel used? So um, so so is that why is this so hard? Why can't I? Why am I not comprehending this? I'm not. Why am I not understanding this? Let me bring up my calculator real quick. Okay. So if I traveled 20 miles, divided by I don't know. Why don't I know? Let me try writing it down, see if that helps my brain. I don't know why. So this part here, I know me and all of us need to have an understanding of, because especially with Python, it's math heavy, and especially if you're going to use it for the future and really anything you do, because math is used a lot with Python. So, and not to mention the final exam is going to be math like this, and I'm just really dumb, I guess. I don't know, but like if I know I'm going to travel 15 miles, right? And then I know that the cost of gas is $3.1599, right? And I get 25 miles to the gallon, right? Yeah, I can go 25 miles in a gallon. Yeah, so 25 miles per gallon. So if I know that, let's say I'm traveling 15 miles, so does that mean I will be traveling, if I'm going 25 miles, I'm going to divide that by 15 miles, 25 miles, divide that by 15, right? That is a 1.66 gallon usage, right? So now I would take that. So let's say 1.66. Does that mean I would put 3.1599 times 1.66? That's $5.24, right? Let's try with that example. So, and an input is how many miles per gallon, right? Miles to the gallon. So let's say I input 25, right? And then So I got 25 miles per gallon, and the cost of it. Am I overthinking this? So am I doing like 3.1599 times 25? Because that's 78.99, right? But I would need to say something like, oh no, because it's saying we travel 20 miles. So technically, would it be 25 divided by 20, which is 1.25, and then 3.1599 times 1.25, that's 3.94. So that can't be right either, right? So I did say that we were going to learn together. I did say that I was going to, talk out loud and try and figure this out loud. So this is me learning. Hopefully, you're not tearing out your hair because you know it and I don't. But if you do, please tell me. All right. So driving write a program with a car's mileage and the cost of gas. And output the gas cost for 20 miles. Oh, wait. Gas cost for 20 miles. So does that mean we take 25 divided by 3.1599, which gives us 7.11, right? No. The gas mileage is 25 gallons. So if I go 25, if I get 25 gallons to the mile, or miles per gallon, and it says that I went 20 miles, then I would divide that by 20, which I would get 1.25. Right? No. Yeah. And the cost of gas is. So is that saying that no, that I used 1 gallon? But that can't be right, because if I used 1 gallon, that means I would have gone 25 miles. Or is it 20 divided by 25, which is 0.8, right? Which makes more sense. So does that mean I would do 3.1599 times 0.8, which is 250? Yes. Okay. How the fuck did I do that? Okay. So what I need to do is I need to say miles to the gallon. So miles to the gallon which means, okay, so the input would be miles to the gallon, right? So I need to take 20 divided by whatever my mileage is. Right? So I actually need to do, can I do it this way? Can I say 20 divided by your input? So 20 divided by 25, right? Miles to the gallon. And then the price, gas price, well, the gas price is fixed. So the gas price is 3.1599. So that means I need to take, oh, I just realized this. So I can actually do the math here. Divided by 20 divided by miles to gallon. I'm gonna, okay. I want to output this real quick just to see what it does for me. So using this 25, right? So it's 0.8. But then we need to say, you know, the gas price. So let's do this. We need to figure out 20 divided by the miles, right? And then once we figure that out, we say times 3.1599, right? And then that's when it should tell that it should be similar. So we're going to use 25 to make sure it's doing it correctly. So 2.52793. So that's correct, because rounded up, it would say 2. So if we put in the, if we do the F string, excuse me. So if we do F string, gas costs, colon to 0.2F. Oh, we need to put gas cost in these brackets here. So this isn't going to be like the submitted grade right this second, because I'm just making sure that I'm doing the math right. So what did I do here? Unterminated string literal detected at line 7. I already see what I did wrong. That is the end quote. Let's try that. Okay, so 25, 2.53. Okay, now that we have the math correct, it wants us to print out like this. So is it going to run it 3 times? No. No. What am I missing? Output each floating point value with 2 digits. So where gas mileage is 25 a gallon and cost of gas is. So the output is because it's taking the 20, the 75, right? So, you know, so let's say the gas is 75. then we run this, and we'll say 25 just to make sure it's doing it correctly. 9.48. So it's wanting us to do that 3 times. Is that what it's saying? So is it saying that gas cost 1, gas cost 2, gas cost 3? So is it saying it wants us to do 20? Yeah. Oh, but before I get ahead of myself. Oh, no. Oops, no, that, yeah. Okay. And then 75 divided by miles to gallon times 3.599, and then 500 divided by miles. And I know there's going to be several ways to do this, or a few different ways to do this. That is probably cleaner, but this is how we're learning. So then it says that we need to output those 3 values. So that means we are going to do f string. Okay, so I don't believe I need to do a concatenation here like that. I don't think we do. Let's try it and then see what happens. So we'll do, well, now I got to correct this variable because I did change it. So now we're going to do gas cost 2, and then gas cost 3. Let's see what this does. That's not right, because it's saying that if I input 25, no, that's right. Here, let's try it. 2.59. Oh, why did it do that? Oh, okay. So if you don't see it, I'll tell you. But if you'll notice, this one only had 2 decimal places, where this one had 4, this one had 3. And that's because I only put the specification to F in gas cost 1. So this one would have rounded up to 48, and this one would have rounded up to 20, which would have been the correct answers. So let's put 2F colon 2F. We're going to do it again. 25 as the examples, because I want to make sure it's coming out. 2.9. So, okay, so that's perfect. So that's what it wants as the output, and I made it more complicated than it should, so I'm sorry I wasted 20 minutes of your time. But now that I have this, I'm ready to submit it. So let's see what it comes down to. If you'd like me to see, if you're like, oh, hey, I like this content, but I wish you would do this or wish you would do that, let me know. Because right now we're actually going through the labs, and we're on number 4 right now. But so it says something wrong here. So it compared the original output, which was correct, and then the input test this time was 30.0, 3.8999. Oh, the input of the gas is different every time. I was thinking it wanted a fixed 3.15999. So we do want to take an input here, and we do want you to say, hey, how much does it cost? So input float for the gas price. So if I were to say And we can test the same number. I added an extra. There you go. So I want it to say, so we'll use 25 as an example, and then 3.1599, and then 25, 948, 16. Okay, so perfect. So what was the other one it used? 30, and then 3.8999. To 11, 790, 52. Okay, so that should fix it. I don't know why I was thinking it should be a fixed number, but it's not. It takes an input. So submit for grading. I did do it that way. 2.11, 2.60. Oh, it did do 2.11. Why did it do 2.11? Oh, the math is completely wrong on this one. Why? Oh, because these are fixed and they're not supposed to be. So I needed to change that to gas price, and gas price. I should put this YouTube channel on my resume so they can see I can resolve issues. Let's 30. What was it? 3.899. So 975. What? 260. 9.6. Oh, okay. Okay, so that should actually be correct now because we use the variables in the correct spot this time, I hope. All right. Attempt numero dos. Ah, yeah, there we go. That's what we want to see. All aces. Oh, look it. I just realized that it kept track. 12 p.m. Cool. All right. So that was that head racking one, which, I don't know why I made this more complicated than it should, but it turned out perfect at the end anyway. Any questions about that? Just let me know. All right. It's an art one. Okay. Given the given input character for an arrow. Now, I did do the pre-assessment to see how well I did, and it did have a question where we needed to do ASCII art like this. So this will be on the exam, just so you know. Let's see. But although I fail to understand, I fail to understand what I'm learning here with doing this. I mean, there's got to be a reason, and there's got to be something that I need to know. I don't know if it's like white spacing or what it is. But I haven't really. It hasn't clicked on why I need to learn something like this. But if you know, then let me know. Given input characters for an arrowhead and arrow body, print a right-facing arrow. If the input is star, hashtag, or pound sign, depending on how old you are, as if you're as old as me, it's a pound, then the output is this right-facing arrow. So it does want an input. So base character is this one, and the head character is this one. row equals head character, type your code here. Well, I mean, let's see what it does with it already like this, because I'm curious. Let's say we'll do the same thing. Star, pound, okay, so nothing's defined yet. That's why I printed this like this. So, this first one here, and then it gave the space. And then since row 1 was already defined, it put in the space here, which is going to be this here. So does that mean row 2 will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 spacings, right? Like this. Like this. So row 2 would be 1, 2. No, there's no spaces there. But we want it to do it 6 times, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So how would you even, would it be base character 6 times? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? Like this, watch. Oops. I am gonna use the this real quick because it's 6 of them that I'm trying. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like, is it wanting it like that? You know what I mean? One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think that's exactly what it wants. And then row 3, 1, 2, 3. So that's 2, row 1, row 2. Row 2. Oh, but we do need the head at the so we technically do need this twice, right? Yeah, so we need that twice. And then for row 3, same concept. It's still 6 of these base characters here, which it's a lot. So I'm gonna copy this time. Actually, I'm gonna copy the whole thing, and we do have some head characters there, so we're gonna put that. But this time instead of 2 head characters, we need 3 head characters because it has 3 there, and then back down to the row 2, which is the exact same. Whoops. I'm sorry about that. Which is this here. So we'll just recopy row 2 again. Actually, why am I thinking we need to recopy it? Because it's going to take that. So it should build out the whole thing now, actually. We'll test it with the pound sign and the ASCII sign first. Why is there what the fuck is this? Oh, that's my input. But check it out. It's the arrow. I wonder what it looks like with other characters, like the squiggly line and let's say the greater one. Yeah, that's cool. All right, that's fun. Let me try one more. Let's do pound and then the yeah, ampersand. That's fine. All right. Anyway, so we'll submit for that for grading. Awesome. It made its own characters. Okay, cool. Phone number breakdown. Given an integer representing a 10-digit phone number, output the area code, prefix, and line number using the format like that. Example, if the input is 800-555-1212, the output is, and it formats it with a space, with the white space. Hint, use the percentage sign, which, the percentage sign is called, oh shoot. Okay, we'll figure that out. But use the percent to get the desired rightmost digits. Example, the rightmost two digits of 572 is gotten by 572 percent 100. Is that remainder? That's not it. Is it remainder? That might be remainder. 100, which is 72. Okay. Hint, use double forward. Oh, okay. I know what these are. Let me get my book real quick here. So oh, you know what though? I wrote it down for JavaScript. So let's look it up this way. Okay, just so that I can accurately say it. So use modulo operator to get the desired rightmost digits. Use the floor division operator to shift right by the desired amount. Example, shifting 572 right by 2 digits is done by 572 right floor division operator 100, which yields 5. Recall, integer division discards the fraction. For simplicity, assume any parts with a non-zero digit, so 0, 1, 1, 9, 9, 9, 9 is not allowed. Okay. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So shifting 572 to 5, 1, 2. Okay. So does that mean if the input is like 800, 800, 272, 56, 8, 9, let's say, right? So does that mean that shift 572, example, shifting 572 by 2 digits, that would be 1, 2. So that would be yields 5, right? Or is it 1, 2, yields 8? So the rightmost digits. So does that mean I would say like print print this plus phone number, right? Phone number. But we want the leftmost, right? So 1, 2, no, rightmost. So we want 1, 2 be 72. So that means we would say that, right? Like that. And then from there we would say the closing, right? Let's just test that part real quick here. Yeah, let's test it. So 1.027256. Oh. So invalid syntax. Okay, so that's not how we do it then. Or do we do it like this? Like that? How do we to the right, right? No, that's to the left. So technically we want this. Is that right? It's not. How do you figure that out? How do you figure that out? Can only concatenate string. So, do we need to use F on this? I don't think we need to use F on this, right? Because we need it to move. 272, 462. Okay. All right. So, right, yeah, so I understand that. that. And then I'm doing like this. Okay, something like this. Okay. So usually when I get to this point where I can't figure out what I'm doing wrong here, what I do is I look it up. So all right, let's see. So it looks like we need a few variables here. So I'm not sure of any other way, but the way it's showing, or the way I'm understanding it, is I need to create 3 different variables for the area code, the middle 3 numbers, and then the last 4 digits. So we'll create the variable area code, the middle 3 numbers, right? So middle 3, and then the last 4 numbers, so last 4 digits, right? So given the input, I'm using this number here as an example. I mean, it doesn't matter right now, but so given the input of phone number, so we're going to take that number and we want the first 3 digits. And it says that shifting 572 right by 2 digits is done by 572, and then the I forget the floor division operator by 100 is 5. So that means it went 1, 2, right? So divided by what happens if I do 100? You know, like it shows right here. Or is it 100 because there's only 3 digits? So what if I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What if I did it like that? Same thing with this, right? The middle 3 you need to get the last 7 digits and then get the first 3 digits of the 7. It's another one of those ones that it's a little mind-boggling to me. It probably shouldn't be, right? Let's try it this way, because at least it will give us an error to work around or to start with. But if we do this, right, and do this, which this tells us the rightmost 2 digits using this here, which is 72. So that would be 1, 2, right? Or the rightmost is 72, and the shifting left by 2 digits, 1, 2, we'll lose 5. So by this same number here, right? And then that means middle 3. That means shifting first. The rightmost 2 digits. That can't be right, because if I do it that way, maybe I'm failing to understand what these represent. Maybe. One sec here. So I'm basically trying to figure out, I'm looking it up to see, but what it's explaining to me seems a little confusing to me. And the reason being, I think, is because I am failing to understand what these numbers represent. You know, I think it's because it is representing this number as not a phone number, but as like this would be the thousands, hundreds place, thousands, millions, right? And so what it's doing is it's going by 10,000 first, which would be, no, 10 million. So it'd be millions, thousands, hundreds, no, ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, million, billion. To get the first three digits, you perform floor division by 10 million, right? So this is 10 million here. Ten comma 000 comma 000. Okay, so that would be the 10 million here. So that would be this part here. So 10, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 million, right? 10, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 million. So that means that if this shifts by 2 digits, left, that means or division by 10 million. So does that mean it? Does that mean it moves the digit to the millions place? Like, you know, like, so if we're in the millions, it would mean 1, 2, right? So 10 million. But that would mean that that would mean how does that? Actually, I don't get that. I mean, shifting 572 right by 2 digits is done by 572 division, division, whatever, which yields 5. So this shifts 2, right? 1, 2, which yields 5, right? And this one here, rightmost, the 2 digits, to the rightmost 2 digits of 572. These are the 2 digits that are the rightmost. But I don't understand how this grabs the area code. So whatever phone number I put in, right? Area code, first 3 digits. That is so that means that's 8. This number, this phone number, division 10 million equals 800. So basically what it's saying is that the given phone number 8002-725-689, and then this is the shift right by the desired amount. Example, by 2 digits is done by, but why is the 100 like doing the 2 digits? So it's saying, because it's saying that 10 million, so 10 1 2 3 1 2 3 is going to equal 800, right? 800. I guess I'm failing to understand so that's, I mean, mathematically that's 800, yes, but this isn't. I guess I'm failing to understand how it grabs the first 3 digits by using this. And in my head, it's because it's saying, okay, shift to the right by the desired amount. Example, shifting 52 right by 2 digits is done by 572. And what is this called again? I should probably do a sticky note. It's the floor division, right? Yeah, the floor division operator. So what I think it's doing, like in this example here, what I think it's doing is with the number, where it comes up with the number is what's confusing me. But what I think it's doing is 572 divided by 100, right? So that is correct. I mean, that's saying that the decimal is right after 5, so move it over to 2 decimals. So do I have to look at this as in decimals? But I mean, you know what I mean? Like, if I say 3 decimals, that's before the 5, which would be, I mean, if I do 1,000 instead of 100, right? And then if I do 572 divided by, let's say, 10, that would only be one. Tens place, hundreds place. So millions place. So that'd be 1, 2, thousands, 1, 2, I mean, hundreds and then thousands and then 1, 2. But that leaves me with 80 point, what the fuck ever, right? So 80, 800 divided by 10, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's, I'm sorry, no. That's wrong because it's going to take the whole number. 800, 272, 5689 divided by 1, 2, 3 million, right? 10 million, right? That's going to be 800. Oh, because it's moving it. But see, this is the this is the tens place to the million, right? 10,000, so 1 million. Am I thinking of it wrong? 10 is tens place, right? So is that the isn't it ones, tens, and then thousands, right? So like if I were to take the entire number 1, 2, 800, 272, 5689, oops, that's wrong. If I were to take the number 800, 272, 5689, divide it by, let's say 100, right? It puts the decimal after the, before the 89 here. So is it because it's saying, so let's look at it right here. So it's saying that the decimal would go here if I did 100. So, but that's ones, tens. Is there like a zero at the invisible zero, and then it's like ones, tens, hundreds? No. Ones, tens. hundreds? No, yeah, that's right, hundreds. So is there like an invisible zero? And then if there is an invisible zero, and then I divide it by 10 million, right? So that wouldn't that be the tens, ones, tens, 80 here, or no? So ones, tens, hundreds. Or is it, I am correct, but like ones, tenths, but because there's the invisible zero, it actually goes here. That would make sense, right? So if I take the phone number, floor division, which is going to take this divided by 10 million, right? 10, and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So 10 million it'll be 800. So that means I'm going to put that symbol right after the 800. And then so yeah, because I would first do this, and then I would make it go to the hundred, the millions, and then the brackets like that, right? So it would be like this. So it would be you want to do that F string again, and say area code, right? But I want that symbol like this. So I'm going to put this and this. So I'm saying put the area code in the brackets here, right? Which means that the only thing that this area code should be holding is the integer 800. Okay, so then the next one is the middle three numbers. So basically what it's saying is that we want to get one sec here. So it's saying we want to get the first, or get the last 7 digits. To get the rightmost digits, example, rightmost 2 digits of 572 is gone by 572% of 100, so which is 72, right? So mathematically, what does that mean? Because now, we have to think of it in math terms. So does that mean if I take my phone number, right, 800-272-5689? No, that's not what I meant. Does it mean it's going this way? So oh no, or is it still the same where it is so it would be here. So the division module, the floor division module, is grabbing everything from the left of here, from the the moving the decimal to the millions, and then the percentage is actually grabbing from the 10 million spot keeping in mind of that invisible zero is going this way. Now I'm thinking of it as an invisible zero because it makes sense in my head, but I don't know if I'm thinking of it correctly or not. But if I am, it'll get these because it's, and I say that because 10 million would technically be 18 million, like that, right, with the tens place. So I mean, does it make a difference if I get rid of the 10 million and make it actually like a 1 million? I mean, does that make a difference? Let's see what it does. So I'm going to take the phone number, right? So 800 to 725-6890 divided by 10 million, right? Just to see what it gives me. So, oh no, that doesn't. Did I do the math wrong? Because that gave me, I added the invisible zero at the end. So 800 to 725. Right? Yeah. Oh, divided by 10, 1, 2, 3, 10 million. Well, even without that invisible zero, it does put the decimal place after the 800, after the right here. So this is where it's placing it when I divide this entire phone number by 10 million, and I can't. Oh, is it because it does put it here? 1, 2. Is it 10? So is it because it's taking, it's starting on the left and saying 1, 2? No. Oh yeah, 10 million is right here. Or is it saying start from the 10 million spot and shift down 1? But why would it shift down 1? I'm so confused on how it's doing it. See, I want to understand why it's doing it. I don't want to just get the answer and like, oh, okay, this is how you do it, and then just move on. I want to understand how it's actually doing that. So let me see if I can find like an actual explanation. What's the phone number? So it's 10 million is 10, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, right? Okay. Let's see if I can get an explanation here. Maybe that'll make more sense. The for division operator in Python is for division. It performs division and then returns the largest integer less than or equal to the mathematical result. In simpler terms, it calculates the quotient and discards the decimal part. Standard division, is 802. Did I not do 10 million right? 800, 272, 56890, right? So 800, 272, no O, because I don't want that invisible O. And then divided by 10, 10 million. Okay, yeah. So, this is 10 million. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, I gotta use the restroom real quick. I'll be right back. Okay. Just remember, guys, this is a live, so I'm thinking out loud and studying out loud. And, I'm obviously, that's the whole point, is I'm going to run into all of these issues, and I'm just saying my thinking process. And if you're running into the same errors and the same issues on your end, hopefully it'll help too, but I am just learning. Okay. The phone number. Okay. I need to see the phone number visually. It is really confusing me to see it like this. Okay. So I could also comment this out so it doesn't ruin anything. And then I'm going to put, just for visual, that's 10 million. Okay. Let's see if I can get like an exclamation that makes sense. So we know it's a floor division, so is a floor division. And we'll figure out what this equals here in a second. Okay, so specifically when you divide by a power of 10. Okay. So the division of this. So the division of decimal. So the key to understand this is that dividing by 10 million is mathematically the same as moving the decimal point places to the left, because 10 million has 7 zeros, right? So 3, 6, 7. So the decimal point is at the end of the integer. So it's here. And then it shifts 7 places. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. After shifting the decimal point 7 places. So does that mean if we moved it, it has 7 zeros, right? So 1, 2, so 3, 6, 7, right? So does that mean if we add a 0, 1 0, does that mean it now does it 8 places? So if I do like 800, 272, 5689 divided by 10 million, that's 800. But now if I do 800, 272, 5689 divided by 10, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then 1 extra 0, it does move it 1 more because, okay, so so what it's saying is that it's saying that it is divide by a power of 10. Here's the so it is saying because 10 million has 7 zeros, it will move over 7 times. So dividing by the power of 10 means that it's divided by like just the zeros. Is that like, what I mean? Like, I mean, what happens if you take that number 2725689 and divide it by 10? Okay, so 1 tenth. So it does move it to the tens place, so 1 0 over. So yeah. So okay, so that's making more sense to me in my head. So the area code will equal the phone number, which is this number, and we want to use the floor division to move that invisible decimal 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, that's 6, and then 7. So So over 7 times. So that means it's going to go to this point here and remove this, which will equal 800, right? Oh, I already said it right there. So using the floor division of 10 million, we'll shift it and remove the rest of it and make it 800. Okay, so now so this is making sense on why this right here would put the area code in here, because that area code now holds the 800 after shifting over. So so now we would do the area code, and then from there we would do a space. I don't think I need the plus, but I would do space, and then in here I'm going to put the middle 3. So we just need, so, right? Yeah, the middle 3 followed by a dash, which we'll get to, right? And then the last 4 digits, which we will get to. I need to remove that. There we go. Oh, I guess I don't need to put that there then. We'll find out. We'll see. Oh, no, I didn't, because it's all in one string. So no, we don't need to put that there. We just need to put the dash. So, all right, so let's figure out how to get the middle 3 numbers. So this is called, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but this is called a modulo operator. So it gives you the remainder, what's left over. So here is a detail. Okay, so no. So use the modulo operator to get the desired rightmost. Example, the rightmost 2 digits of 572 is 572. So is it doing the same thing with the zeros, or it's 1, 2, and then that's 1, 2? So that's the rightmost. Hue, like if, for example, like if I were to do the math, well, how do you do a math on remainder? I don't know how you do that. So So one analogy is what it's using is, say if you have 17 cookies and you put them into packages of 5, so 5, 10, 15, and you, with the remainder 2, 15, 16, 17, so the remainder 2, you can't put that in a package of 5. So you'll have 3 packages and 2 cookies left over. So the remainder is 2. So using that, we can get the last 4 digits. So it's kind of like what the division floor division operator here is doing. So it's saying that to get the last 4 digits, we use the operator with 10,000, since that is the last 4 digits. So we would do 10, the phone number, and then 10,000, 10, 1, 2, 3, which would put, which would then say, okay, so the decimal starts here, 1, 2, so 3, 4, there's 4 zeros, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So that gets the last 4 digits. Sorry, I said I was working on the middle 3, but I figured out the last 4, so I might as well put it there. But that's what this means. So that's pretty easy. So I'm going to see how we can get the middle 3. Now, I think what we have to do something to where we're like, okay, get the last 4 digits and remove that, and then get the first 3 and remove that, and we'll have our middle 3 here. And so yeah, so that's what it's saying. So we have to isolate the last 7 digits. So these 7 here. So okay, so first we want to use the modulo operator with 10 million. So that's what I did here, right? So modulo 10 million, because what it's going to do is it's going to take 7 zeros, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So now this right here mathematically holds these last 7 integers, digits. And then we want to use the floor division. I'm thinking to use the floor division. Okay, yeah. So use the floor division, right? So now that you have the 7 digits of the number, the 7 digits of the phone, you need to remove the last 4 digits, right? So to do this, using the floor division, use 10,000 because that's 4 zeros. So if in here is holding these numbers, just these right here, the last 7 digits, we want to use 10,000 for the last for the last 4 zeros. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So to get rid of these, right? So now you have the 7 digits. You need to remove the last 4 digits. You need to do this using floor division with 10,000, 4 zeros. So does that mean 10, 1, 2, 3? So now that we have that number, which is going to be this number here, one, 2, 3, 4. But now that number is 5, 6, 8, 9, right? Oh, okay, because this right here is, it's not saying to use these last 4. It's saying to move the decimal 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's going to use whatever is ahead or before the decimal, so 272. So this should be 272 here, and then this here will be the last 4. So now that we finally got that, let's test it. This is important to do this because when you actually do go and do the test and you don't understand it, then you're going to be confused, like, okay, how did I get that? What did I do? Like, you won't understand. So it's important to understand this so you can do the test. It'll be a lot easier when you understand it and what it's actually doing. But because with the test, you're not going to be able to use anything. You're not going to be able to like Google it and try and have the answer explained to you. You know, you're not going to be able to have that. So you need to actually do what I'm doing pretty much. You know, you don't know it, research it and look it up and do it yourself and learn it. Kind of like how that's why I'm doing this live, is to talk it out. Whether somebody watches me talk it out or not, it doesn't matter. I'm learning it. But my hope is that you will too by watching me. So what this is saying is that it's taking the numbers inside the brackets and it is moving the decimal over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7, right? 7 decimals. So that means it is holding 2, 7, 2, 5, 6, 8, 9. So let's pretend that decimal is like right here, right? And then it's going to use the for modulo to, or for division to go 10,000. So 10,000. So 2 4 zeros, right? So that means now that we have this, we need 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 zeros. That is 4 zeros is 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that means it's 10,000. That's why it wants 10,000, because we know that we need it to be 4, you know. So that means it's going to make that, like if I do this, right? 2, 7, 2, 5, 6, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's going to put the decimal here, and it's going to remove all this and keep 2, 4, 2, right? That's what the module does, is keep everything from the left. And the division for division will keep everything to the left, and the modulo will keep everything to the right. Okay, so and then the last 4, the phone number is 1, 2, 3, 4 digits to the left. So it's taking the phone number and moving the decimal 1, 2, 3, 4 to the left. So this one's actually, you know, pretty easy. So it's, like I said, it's going to keep everything to the right. The modulo keeps everything to the right. The division keeps everything to the left. So it is going to take the phone number. Oh, I wanted to do a thing. So it's going to do, you know, having one move decimal 1, 2, 4, 4 digits to the left, So let's finally run this, and we'll do the same phone number, 800-272 5689, right? Okay, what's wrong with this? What's wrong is that I forgot to put the closing bracket here, which is right here. So let's run that again. 800-272 5689. Yes. That was awesome. You know what? I'm going to take a screenshot of this because I want to go back and reference this. Yeah, I feel like I learned a lot today here, just spending that much time on it. But you know, I want to refresh myself and learn some more and try different examples. But actually, let's try a different example. So 800, 5, 8, whatever, 5, 8, 3, 6, 8, 5, 8, yeah, something like that. Okay, perfect. So now we're ready to turn it in. I hope that made sense, honestly. Just, we just need to remember, especially when you go to take the test, you just need to remember that the modulo operator will keep everything to the right, and the division, floor division, will keep everything to the left. And I'm just going to make a note here. And that's what you should do too. You should take notes. That's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to take notes of what I just learned. Okay. Awesome possum. All right, so let's make sure we've got it all right. We did. We got 10 out of 10. Now we're on to the next lab. Where are we on the labs here? We're barely on 7 of the practice test. I mean, not the lab, but the practice test, which is good. I mean, we need this. Okay. Write a program whose inputs are 3. Let me close this. Come on. Move. There. Write a program whose inputs are 3 integers and whose output is the smallest of the 3 values. If the input is 7, 15, 3, the output should be 3. This one will be interesting because we're going to have to figure out, and you know what? There's a reason that the practice tests are at the end. It's because we would learn this, what it's talking about, more than likely in the functions, or no, probably the loops. No, probably the functions. Let me see. Functions, loops, branching, strings, list, files, operator. Wherever the if statements are, if else branches. So branching. So we'll more than likely learn it in number 5, which we're not there yet, but we will be. We'll more than likely learn it in number 5 here under if. But you know what? Let's do this. And this is why I feel like, I promised that I would do the entire test. But I promise I would do the entire test, but I feel like, in order to do this part of the test, you need to understand the if else here. And we're barely on number 3 with variables and expressions. So what if we go back and then just keep going? I don't know what you guys want. You know what? I'm going to try and accomplish this. And then once we're done, I think I do want to go back and then just continue where we left off with variables here. I feel like because the testing is meant to be done at the end once you've learned everything. So I think for my learning and your learning, that's what we're going to do. I think I'm going to change it up, and I'm going to go back and we're going to continue where we left off. And I think it would be best if for learning and to teach you and teach myself that we just continue where we left off, and then at the end we'll do the practice test. Now, If you want me to just continue doing practice tests, whether you've done the top or not, then let me know, and we'll go. I'll do it again tomorrow on my live. We'll do it again tomorrow, and then we'll do the test if that's what you want. But I'll see what people want, and then we'll come back to it. For now, we'll finish this, and we'll go back to number 3, and then continue with ZyBooks and learning. Because honestly, like the ZyBooks, I haven't really been enjoying. But for this class, I've actually really liked the ZyBooks for the Python class. It's actually been the best help for me on this. So, okay. So I feel like I need to utilize an if statement for this because I want to know if a number is larger, if a number is bigger, what it is. So how do we do that? So write a program whose inputs 3-digit. Okay, so I mean, we want to take the inputs, right? So 3-digit inputs. So we'll just call this A, B, and C. Input, pivot, input. You guys watch Friends. So, excuse me. So, but how do I know, how do I know, how do I trickle it down though, because I could do something like if A is less than, if A is less, what if I do, if A is less than B and C, can I do double ampersand? I can't remember where I learned this, if it was C# or if it was Python. Let me check real quick. Okay, so that won't work. The AND statement is just simply AND. So I think I used that. I think I got that from more than likely like C# or JavaScript or something. I don't remember because Python's like my favorite and main language that I've been learning lately. C# will be my second one, but it literally just uses AND. So if A is less than B and C, then print A, right? Else, elif, which is else if for Python. So elif B is less than A. Do I need to say and? So, because I was curious if I needed to do and A is less than C. So it has to be like, if A is less than B and A is less than C, then that means out of the two numbers, A is the least. And that's my thought process on it. But we'll find out if that's correct or not. Else if B is less than A and B is less than C, then that means you'll print B. Else if if C is less than B and C is less than A, then print C, right? And I don't think there's any other combination because I did if A is less than B and C, if B is less than A and C, or if C is less than B and A. I don't think there's any other combination and print C. So let's test that. See what I did here. Oh, that's right. We need to, I forgot about that. So we need to add, I think at the end of each one, like this, the colon at the end. I think I need it for the else if as well. It'll tell us if it's wrong or not with the error, but if it's not, see, it'll blink. So let's say 15, 1, and then 5. So it printed 1, 15, 1 is in B. And it printed 1. I think I did that correctly, actually, but I want to see it visually. So print A was smaller. A was smaller. B was smaller. I need to see it visually, otherwise. And then C was smaller. So it should. I think I need to concatenate it. So I'm doing this like this, and then we'll run it, and we'll say 20. And I'm going to use a 1 again because obviously it's going to be the smallest one. So 1B was smaller. And then what I'll do is I'll test A as being small. So 156, 8. A was smaller. And then we'll do like this, and make C smaller. C was smaller. Sweet. So yeah, that's the if statement, if else statement. I don't want. It's obvious you've been watching me that I'm new and I'm learning, and we're all learning together. So don't come at me, bro. I know there's I know there's more effective and quicker ways to do this. It's just not there yet. Just chillax. All right, so I'm gonna remove the extra stuff because it does not specify that it needs all that extra stuff. It was just for me to visually learn. I'm going to turn this one in, and then we will move on to going back to the training and going through it. And I wish there was people here to tell me whether they like me going through this or not, but we'll see tomorrow. If I get, I'm going to test it one more time. If I get people watching. So it printed 1. So let's do this and submit. What did I do here? Okay. 7, 15, 3. First number was 15. Why did it do that? Oh, let's see. What was the number? 7, 15, 3? 7. Idiot. Run. 7, 15, 3. Oh, interesting. Why? We just tested it, right? We just tested it. But it said that 15, which was B, so if B is less than A, and B is less than C, If B is less than A, if B is less than C, print B. But why would it print 15? It doesn't read it, right? So if B is less than A, which was 7, and B is less than C, which was 3, so that fails. So it should go on to the next one, right? Because of the and, it fails. Why? Why does that fail? I'm trying to think of it logically. If B is less than A and B is less than C, we print B. What if I do it this way? What if I mean, will it make a difference if I say if B is less than A and C? I mean, does that make a difference? No, it still prints 15. And B is less than C. Why does it print 15? I am going to am I using the else statement wrong? Is this maybe supposed to be else? Oh, oops. Expected colon. There's a colon there. Oh, I think I need a colon after the else. Does that mean I need one after that? Unexpected indentation. Oh,